Shalom, shalom. We back up. Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge. All right, we back up live here. We're gonna get into it in just a moment. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. We back in the game here with the biblical scripture breakdown class every Wednesday night here. All right. All right, we should be good to go everywhere. Looks like it froze. Y'all let me know if y'all can see me. It looks like it's frozen on my end. Let me know if y'all able to see me there. What is it? The picture? No, this card. No. That's the problem. I think I got it figured out here. That's the issue. All right, now we should be good to go. There we go. All right, everybody, we should be good to go. Of course, the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Get everything straight here. Scripture breakdown class. We're going to go through this scripture breakdown class. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, let's get to it. Back on the oppressor here. All right, let's just give everybody a few minutes to get in here. A few moments, we will go ahead. Go ahead. Perfect. All right, now I see myself. We're good to go. All right. So, let's start here with this oppressor, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. The oppressor cutting up. Just got word that they just murdered another brother. An unarmed black man was murdered by the police here in Virginia. I believe that was just today. We have to understand, black man. A teen. Y'all type in, let me know if y'all heard about this. The police just murdered unarmed black teen Jaden Malik Carter was shot in the head by the police today. You understand? The police murdered this young brother. Of course, we're not surprised. We're not surprised whatsoever that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of and his force. That's why it's important to know who this oppressor is. Virginia cops kill unarmed black teen with headshot. No questions asked, family says. You understand? Like, this is what we live in here in America, while everybody getting ready to celebrate America and pledge allegiance to the flag and join with America's holidays. This is the reality of what we face in here in America. You understand? The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Jaden Malik Carter, his family maintains he was innocent, in the wrong place at the wrong time. They just killed this brother. Looks like he was killed around Woodbridge, possibly in that area, man. Woodbridge has been getting worse and worse again, like it was about 20 years ago. Lots of crime, lots of violence, and these things can only be solved. They say he was killed last week in Virginia, said it was uncalled for. They murdered and executed this brother. And this war on drugs is just, of course, more names and titles for America's excuses to execute young black men. This 19-year-old brother, 19 years old, a young brother, young, ain't made it out of his teenage years yet, and they executed this brother. Succumbed to his injuries, man. Prince William County police officers shot him while he rode in the front seat of a car doing an alleged drug bust. You understand? They supposedly shot him in a drug bust, a part of their war on crime. It goes to show even more, man. It goes to show even more. Said the police killed my nephew with a headshot. Shot this young brother in the head. That's why it's so important for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. What we teach our people in the Isupk, and we've been all throughout Virginia, all throughout the various states, all up and down America, telling our people to turn back to serve the Most High. Because any of this should be enough to make every single Black, Hispanic, and Native American, because their excuse for murdering this young brother was that they were fighting the war on drugs, then every single Black, Hispanic, and Native American, if you give a damn about the murder of this brother or any of the other Black, Hispanic, Native American sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, fathers, nieces, and nephews that have been murdered by the police in the name of their war on drugs, every single one of us should stop taking drugs. Every last Black, Hispanic, and Native American, if you want the police to stop executing innocent brothers and guilty brothers and sisters, we as a people should stop taking drugs. We should stop taking drugs. We should stop smoking weed. We should stop taking pills, stop taking Percocets. If their excuse for murdering one of us is that any of us take drugs, then we should all stop taking drugs. That should be the end of it. You understand? I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know whoever it is. Make sure your computer, your phone's on mute. Not sure if that's on your end there. Everyone should quit taking drugs. There should be no more weed sold. There should be no more gas, no more weed, no more Percocets. Everyone should say, anyone who says that they care, everybody put on those T-shirts and like to do those marches and light those candles, those don't do a damn thing. Our people been lighting candles, wearing T-shirts, painting murals since the damn 70s, since the 70s, since the 80s, since the 90s. That does not stop murder. That does not stop police brutality. That does not stop neighborhood murders. That doesn't teach brothers how to stop murdering each other in neighborhood beefs. That does nothing for our people. Absolutely nothing. If we want to stop this, the solution to make sure that the police never murder another Black man or a Hispanic brother for any drug-related charges is every single one of us quit drugs. Drugs become illegal. Drugs become something that is unacceptable in the Black community. It's unacceptable. Cigarettes, weed, backwoods, everything. Cocaine, crack, heroin, drug use, drug dealing. It should be so unacceptable to the point where you have to face, you understand? To the point where you have to face consequences and scrutiny for doing something. The problem in our community, why these things are allowed to happen, is there are no rules. There's no rules. What is it that you are not allowed to do? If you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, what are you not allowed to do? I can tell you what the Chinese are not allowed to do. The Chinese are not allowed to go and be with the Japanese. I can tell you that. There's no Japanese joining the Chinese. You're not allowed to do that. I can tell you what you're not allowed to do as a Muslim, as an Arab in their culture. You aren't allowed to throw Allah away and go and join another race of people in their religion. Not safely, not without facing scrutiny and consequence from the people, from the family, from your community, from your nation. You should not be allowed to be a traitor. You should not be allowed. There should be rules and guidelines and standards. The reason why it's so easy to murder one of us is because as a race of people, we have no standards. What is the guidelines and the rules? That's why we teach these things in Isupk. As a nation of people, there are no rules that are enforced, that are taught, that are across the board, that all of our 12 tribes follow. There are no rules. What rule? Is there a rule to stop all the child molestation? Evidently not. There's no rule on the reservation against child molestation. There's no rule in the ghetto against child molestation. There's no rule in the mosque. There's no rule in the temple. There's no rule in the church. There's no rule up north, down south. There's no rule overseas. There is no rules amongst our people to stop child molestation. That's why the LGBT community thrives on Blacks and Hispanics, because there is no borderline. Are there rules to stop a man from having sex with a woman and throwing her away? No. There are no rules. You want to have sex with a sister, get her pregnant, and throw her away like old shoes? You are allowed to do that. It's your freedom. It's your choice. It's your rights. There's no rules. Is there a rule that if you are a Black woman, you can't murder your baby? Nope. There's no rule. No matter what age you are, if you feel like you want to murder your baby, you are free to go and do so. And that is why our sons and daughters get murdered at traffic stops, because we have no rules that our people follow. And we are known as a lawless people that everyone can take advantage of at their choosing. Is there a rule about not marrying another race of people so that their family can come in and set up businesses and buy up our neighborhoods? The Chinese have a rule. I guarantee you won't open up real estate and development in the Chinese community. I guarantee you won't open up real estate and development in the East Indians community. You won't open up black real estate and development in the Jewish man's community. I guarantee you won't. Can they come and set up shop in our communities? Yes, they can. Why can they do so? Because our people don't have any rules that we follow. We don't have any rules amongst our people. Is there a rule about what is a relationship, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable? Is there a rule about not beating your woman half to death if you get upset, or not busting your man upside your head, fighting with your man in the streets, embarrassing him? Do we have those rules amongst our people? Is there a rule to tell your woman not to be on the street with all whole naked behind and her breasts showing out for the whole damn world, putting her behind all over the goddamn internet, ruining the Marvel universe? Goddamn Megan Thee Stallion got She-Hulk twerking on the goddamn Disney Marvel universe. Are there any rules to restrict any sort of behavior or any activity? Are there rules to teach our children not to grow up and smoke, even though all of our people are dying from drug addiction? The poor, the rich like Whitney Houston and Prince and DMX. Is there rules in place yet to make sure that your young toddler babies don't grow up to be teenage drug addicts, to die as teenage drug addicts? Are there rules? Do your uncles follow these rules if they are? Do your brothers follow them? Do your aunts follow them? Do your cousins follow them? Do your friends follow them? Does your football and your basketball team follow these rules? Hell no. We don't have no goddamn rules amongst our people. That is why we die all the time. There are no goddamn rules about anything. No rules about family. Are there rules that we are supposed to follow that tells us what we can and can't eat? Because the Arabs have rules. They got rules of what they can and can't eat. The oppressor, he got rules. They're very loose, but he got rules on what he can and can't eat. You understand? The Chinese, they don't have rules on what they can and can't eat. They'll eat Pokemon, they'll eat bats, they'll eat octopus, and they'll spread the goddamn coronavirus to kill half the goddamn planet because they don't have rules about what to eat. You understand? But if they were number one in gout and number one in strokes and number one in high blood pressure and number one in getting fingers and toes chopped off and being put on dialysis, they would change what they ate. I guarantee you won't eat bat and pangolin in China no more. I bet they stopped eating Pokemon after they got blamed for spreading the coronavirus, killing everybody. I bet you Pokemon is illegal to eat in China now. You understand? Our people need rules. There are no rules. You don't have any rules to teach your children. That nonsense you teaching them in church is useless. The proof that it's useless is when they leave your religious institutions, they go out and kill the community. They go out and sell drugs. They go out and get on drugs. Go out and our families fall apart. 80%, everybody talk this family talk. 80% of the divorces, the actual sexual relationships that our people take serious, not everything from elementary school all through college, all through hot girl summer. That's just, until you're ready to settle down, you understand, which is when you're catching all the herpes and gonorrhea and chlamydia and AIDS, that in between time of settling down that the Christian church teaches us, which is a damn failure and a joke. Once people decide to take seriously who you put your rod into if you a man, guess what? 80% of them damn things, woman initiating a divorce in the first place. She said, to hell with the whole family, take the kids, break up the family, ruin the community, chooses to be a single mother on her own. Are there rules to stop this? It's evidently it's destroying our community. It's evident we having all these problems. This is why we keep getting killed at traffic stops. It's why we keep getting killed in our home. You understand? Are there any rules that we are supposed to follow? Are there any rules that you could teach that baby that you just gave birth to make sure that she does not grow up upside down on a goddamn wall or sliding down a stripper pole? Do you have anything to teach her? Or are you going to teach her do what makes you happy? Whatever you feel inside. You understand? Obey the law, whatever the hell that means. You understand? We must have rules as a people. The God of our fathers gave us rules. We must learn these rules. God said, teach them diligently unto your children. Our children must be taught these rules. You understand? Islam doesn't have these rules. It doesn't have the rules. You understand? It doesn't have them. Muhammad didn't have the rules to tell him not to have sex with Aisha and that other elementary school girl that he raped and called marriage. They didn't have those rules. They don't have them in Syria. They don't have them in Lebanon. And they have those rules, man. They don't have those rules. Buddhism. They don't have such a rule. But we do. If you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, the God of our fathers gave us rules. And those rules are our wisdom, our understanding, and our protection in the sight of the nations. Those rules that the Lord gave us is how we make sure that we are not victims to people who hunt us. You understand? Let's get some of those rules, man. The Lord's rules are our protection. They are our guidelines, our boundaries, so that we understand. 1 Peter 5:8 says, our adversary, meaning we have an enemy looking to hunt us as a people. Like we are being hunted. No matter how many times we say it, our people are not understanding we are being hunted. They're just starting to wake up little by little. Now that you know that we are being hunted, there are things that we must do as a people to get out of the radar of the hunter that is killing us as a people. Give me 1 Peter 5:8. Baba Kushal. 1 Peter 5. Go ahead.
1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober. Be vigilant.
We have to be sober, meaning we can't be high. We can't be drunk with America's philosophy of everything is going to be all right. The whole planet is preparing to go to World War III. The doomsday preppers preparing for the collapse of society. Trump getting ready to run again. They preparing for civil war, preparing for Russia to advance throughout the rest of Europe to continue their campaign with Ukraine, preparing for China, you understand, to go and invade, to take Taiwan back over. The whole world is preparing for this. You understand? They have rules and things set in place to prepare for what's getting ready to happen. Our people are not being taught to prepare. You understand? Your preparation begins by getting in the ISUPK. Right. If you're not coming to the ISUPK and you are not in our classes, you are not doing what God requires for you to prepare. You understand? Or you're drinking more water and being a vegan and getting your blood pressure right and eating a healthy, clean diet. That's not how you prepare for what the Lord is sending. That's all nice and well and good. You're exercising and lifting weights and getting in shape. That's great. That's wonderful. But that's not how you prepare for what the Lord is sending on this earth, man. That's not going to help you. You understand, in these days coming up. That won't help us at traffic stops with our oppressor looking to hunt us. Shot this 19-year-old, executed him in his car. You understand? Unarmed, sitting in the car. They just show up and murder the brother, man. Like, we have to get the Lord on our side. That's an absolute tragedy. They murdered this brother, man. How many more Freddie Grays and Tamir Rices and Walter Scotts are we going to deal with, man? How many more George Floyds are we going to face? Are we going to march again? We marched already. You lit candles. You set the town on fire. They burned Richmond up. Burned up the city. Burned up Minnesota. That did not stop this. That didn't stop when they murdered Xavier Hill, and they did not stop when they murdered this brother, man. That's not the solution. We're going to have to do something different. Calling for better legislation is not the solution if you have a nation of people that rule over us that are hunting us. You understand? We're going to have to turn to the Most High.
Right.
So keep going.
Be vigilant.
Be vigilant. What does it mean to be vigilant? We have to be paying attention. We have to be on watch. You understand? You're the only race of people that is not paying attention to anything going on in the world. Nothing. Not paying attention. We have to be vigilant. We have to get sober. Get your mind off of these silly holidays, these silly Labor Days. Anything you can light some fireworks and have a cookout and celebrate with your oppressor. Put your mind on building your nation, getting separate from this oppressor. Our oppressor has a lot to pay for, a lot of things. And though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. We have to separate ourselves because the time is coming when the oppressor is going to pay for the evil that he has done. He's filled his country with all of his enemies that he bombed, that he murdered, that he robbed, the Vietnamese, the Koreans, the Chinese, the different Arabs, the Africans, all of the people he's backstabbed and bombed and robbed their country and their people for centuries. He filled his empire with them. You understand? And when America starts to fall more and more, everyone is going to blame you, black man. They're going to blame you, Hispanic, Native American man. You may not realize it because you are not sober and you're not vigilant. Your religion that you go to every Sunday is not telling you that you are being hunted, that they're looking for ways to justify taking and murdering our children. They're looking for ways to split up that family while you thinking you are part of America because you can slick your hair back and take and pronounce your name a certain way so it's less ethnic. You understand? So you can take that, you know, the stigma of being the children of the slaves, of the Indians and the day laborers that they hunted to try to blend in with your oppressor. You're going to be blending in with a lynch mob. They're going to turn and look around and realize that you're the only one that's not a real white man. Ask that brother that battled Captain Tazariak and Commanding General Yohana. Ask that brother, what's his name? That proud boy, one of them proud boys, wanted to be a white man so bad. All the white men got free. He's sitting in prison right now. He's not proud no more. He got his Negro wake-up call. You thinking because you light-skinned or because you can shave your face or you got a good job or you know how to talk through your nose or you know how to speak good, proper English and pronounce all your letters and alphabets, you understand? Because you can be on the sports teams, because your tax bracket, your money, your security clearance, your education, you keep thinking you can join another nation of people. God swore you would never fit with another nation of people. God said he would never allow us to join another nation of people. He put that on himself. You understand? So keep going.
Because your adversary, the devil.
Your who?
Your adversary.
Your adversary. Our people must realize this. Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, you are not teaching your children. We have an adversary. They're not being told. We are being hunted. We have an adversary. There are things that should have been outlawed, that should be shunned, that should be frowned upon, that should be illegal amongst ourselves to take the bait away from the oppressors, from the adversary who does what? Keep going.
The devil as a roaring lion.
As a roaring lion. You hearing that roaring lion? He going about as a roaring lion, flexing his power, flexing his might, whipping his pistol, his taser. You gonna ride the lightning boy. That's what they told that brother. What was his name? Sergeant, what was his name? That brother in full military uniform, they put a gunpoint at a damn traffic stop. You understand? Talking about you gonna ride the lightning boy. They flexing their power. America gives them the power to murder whom they see fit. All they got to say is, I was scared. Oh, it's the war on drugs. We fighting illegal immigration. That's all they got to say. What was his name?
I think it was Felix something. I can look it up, sir.
Yeah, get that brother's name, man. That's why the Lord forbid us from joining another nation of people. Like, it's punishments coming, man. We got to turn back to the Most High and learn this. If you are Black, Hispanic, and Native American, and you are in this oppressor's military, understand that you have done something wrong. We have committed a great evil sin against God, joining America's military, joining their government, their politics. That is a great evil sin that has been done. You may think and enjoy all the benefits from all the money that you're getting and all the health care, and you proudly salute the flag. You understand you're going to be proudly sent to World War III to fight China and Russia when they unleash the mustard gas and the nuclear bombs. Get that. What's his name?
Caron Nazario.
Nazario. There you go. Lazario. Sergeant Lazario, man. Proud as a roaring lion, looking whom they can devour. That LGBT movement, you've been waving them rainbow flags so you can help your gay cousin and your gay best friend get the right so they can go to the court to marry. You understand? So they can die of smallpox and monkeypox and AIDS. You fought and marched for that. Join in America. All in there. March for it. You understand? And the Lord was against it the whole time. You understand? They hunting us. That's a bait that they set out because they knew that our community and our society was destroyed because they destroyed it. He said, your adversary, the devil. That's what we're talking about tonight. The devil that the Bible speaks of. We're going to get into it. Who is the devil, man? The devil. Very important. Our people need to know who the devil is. You understand? You've been in church your whole life. Decades sitting in church, decades listening to Christians tell you about God and the Bible. Don't know the first thing about who the devil is. Talk about stomp on the devil, stomp on the devil. You failed to educate your children about who the devil is and how to avoid his traps. Because the preacher said God's laws are done away with, even though Jesus Christ said that they were not done away with. You understand? Keep going. As a matter of fact, started from the top. You there? Go ahead and start it from the top. All right. That's what the Lord is talking about, man. The Bible says your adversary, the devil. Like, we got an adversary. We got an enemy that the Lord wants us to realize. It said your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, goeth about seeking whom he may devour. You understand? You might need to refresh that. Be sober, be vigilant, be paying attention. You have to be paying attention. The only people paying attention is the Isupk. You think you watching the political debates and listening to Stacey Abrams and listening to Barack Obama and listening to Kamala Harris, you all into the politics, ready, vote Democrat, Republican. That's not being sober. You understand? We need to be sober and vigilant, paying attention to how the pedophiles is getting ready to get rights to have sex with children and it not be a crime anymore. They done already forced and bullied their way into your child's school curriculum, which they don't even have to tell you about anymore. They already have your children damn near most of the day, most of the week, most of the year. You only really have access to them on the weekends and a couple of months during the summer, if you ever get a chance to get off. That's why it's important that we have these rules that the Lord taught us amongst ourselves, that we teach them diligently unto our children. They will be our length of days. We lose our lives shortly because we don't know these rules, man. We don't know these rules. If you, some brother, some sister, understand this, you should not be around anyone getting high. Don't get into the car with them. Don't go to the party with them. Don't hang out with them, because the Lord is against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans for getting high. The Lord is against us for smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, and the evil that our adversary, the devil, who is looking for a reason to murder one of our children, you will give him the excuse to execute us at traffic stops, shoot us running away from the squad car, beat us, throw us in jail on false charges. Stay away from anyone selling drugs, using drugs, or getting high. It is not a black thing. Smoking weed is an East Indian custom. The same people that don't want you in their stores, that cannot stand you, the same scam likely, they don't want you around them. They don't want you in their stores. They want the money they can get from our people in our neighborhoods to take it back to their people. Ask the brothers and sisters in the West Indies how much the children of Elam love them. Ask them in Jamaica and Trinidad how much they love them. You understand? Ask them. They tell you how they oppress and they're cruel to them, just like the so-called white man is to us here in America. You understand? All right. The Lord wants us to be sober and be vigilant because our adversary seeks who he can devour. You understand? You around somebody getting high, you stay away from them, man. Stay away from them. You a girl, you around somebody, you a brother or a sister, you around somebody getting high, our people need to break our, you understand, affiliation with all drug use. If you love DMX, then you should never get high again. If you love Juice World and Fredo Santana and Pimp C, everybody swear they love Michael Jackson and Prince and Whitney Houston, you should never get high again. Don't ever take no more weed, no more pills, no more heroin, no more syrup, no more cocaine, no more crack, nothing. We should never get high again. Otherwise, their death means nothing to you. You understand? Every innocent brother that they're going to murder at a traffic stop in the name of their war on drugs, you are part of it. You support the evil that is being done amongst our people, which is their excuse to hunt and murder us. We all have to stop. We have to. Otherwise, when it's your nephew, you won't be able to say anything. All you'll be able to say, it's just a shame. That's all you'll be able to do. You understand? In order for evil to stop, there must be a force that is sober and is vigilant, that is diligent in fighting against the evil. The only force that is doing that is the Isupk, any Black, Hispanic, Native American community. You understand? It says, as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. How does he know who he can devour? He's not sure, but he's going to look. He's seeking. And if you out getting high, you give him all the ammunition that he needs. You understand? All the ammunition that he needs. He stopped you, now he can harass you. Now he can search you. Now whatever he finds can be tied to his suspicion about you being a drug user or a drug dealer. You think that America legalized weed, that's your ticket to go and get high. America's laws are not for the benefit of your people. They're to trap you into thinking you are a part of America. That's what the Christian preachers and religious leaders and politicians do not teach our people. You understand? The Chinese don't live their life based on politicians. The Arabs don't live their lives based on the words of politicians. Not in America. They have guaranteed cash flow in separate societies that are independent, whether America is doing good or bad. They don't get harassed by social services, immigration customs enforcement. There's no police movement to track down on the illegal crimes that's being done in all these communities. You understand? They're not targeting them. The war on drugs is not targeting the Arabs that you getting your pills and your weed from. The war on drugs is not targeting the Asians you getting your heroin from. All that fentanyl overdose, that fentanyl is coming straight from China. You understand? You don't see immigration customs enforcement kicking in no Chinese doors, raiding no carryouts. You understand? All in there making pills, flooding them to you in the ghetto because you are who they're going to put on the news when they get the drug bust, not the Chinese. Everybody know it. The government know it. CNN know it. Google knows it. Al Jazeera knows it. Everybody knows it. But you the only one sitting in prison for the drug charges. How is that possible? Because your adversary, the devil, is seeking and hunting you. That's why we need to know who the devil is. That's why we need to know what's going on with our people, man. They hunting into the way to unsuspecting children. They're hunting for children. You understand? They're hunting for them. America's handing the children straight over to the child molesters. That's why they put in that mandatory education. They just did it at some school in Richmond. They just took away the genders for the bathrooms. They trying experiments with the children. You a grown woman at your job. You would not go to work at your job as a grown woman and they have men in the bathroom with you. You in there doing your feminine things as a woman is supposed to do in the woman's room, and here comes some goddamn man in there peeing on the toilet seat, doing whatever men do in their bathroom. Here you and a man sharing the same bathroom together. You wouldn't have that at your job. So why the hell would they do that where the kids go to school? Why the hell would they do that with the elementary school and the babies going to school? Because they pushing an agenda. They are hunting who is not paying attention. I'm going to tell you how you know they're hunting who's not paying attention, because black parents have not made the uproar that the Arab nations did. The Arab nations came up against Disney and Netflix. The Arab nations said, we want you to stop pushing this homosexual agenda because we don't accept that amongst our people. We want you to stop pushing this LGBT agenda because that's not how we live life on this side of the world. A bunch of countries came up against Netflix, and I believe Disney too. You can't hardly watch a Netflix show without some man, some transsexual, some man with eyeliner and lip liner on here. And who is he pretending to be? A black woman. Rolling his neck, snapping his fingers, you understand, full of all kind of sass and back talk and all kind of fake eyelashes and glitter and weave. He pretending to be you. You understand? Why? Because they had to use our sisters so that they can promote their agenda. The same way that Planned Parenthood had to do, the same way that they did to get onto the moon, they had to exploit our sisters. That's the same thing that Pharaoh knew. That's why he told the midwives in the book of Exodus that we went over in the last two classes, if it be a male son, kill him. But if it's a female, you should leave her alive, because the empire is going to run and push all of their agendas by exploiting our sisters. That's what the serpent knew in the Garden of Eden. He knew he couldn't get to Adam, but he knew if he got to Eve and appealed to her vanity and her desire to be worshipped and be a boss lady and be a diva, and in the name of all of that, she would forfeit the garden and the kingdom, ruin her family, and completely change the way that life functions for their people, just so that she could be the diva, so she could be worshipped as a god. That's the first lesson that God put in the Bible, was to not do that. And America promotes and pushes that. And the other nations is pushing back against it, saying, we don't want this. We don't want you promoting this. That's not a way of life. That's how you end life. Are black parents speaking up about it? You talking about the Illuminati. You talking about go vegan, eat more fruits and vegetables, see moss, be more holistic, talk to the crystals in the zodiac, burn your sage. You talking about that. You're talking about housewives and Kanye's new shoes and dresses and baby fever, but are you talking about how the child molesting LGBT, you understand, movement is pushing towards your children? You talking, there's no conversation about that, because that would conflict with you doing twerk challenges with your baby all on TikTok. You understand? That's why we must have rules and guidelines amongst our people. Without these rules, our people are left for prey for anyone who wants to come and take whatever they can from us. You understand? We got to rebuild our nation, our families, our communities back up again by empowering who God wants to be empowered, man. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. You understand? It says, as for us, not all people, just us, these 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help, meaning our eyes have failed. We can't find what we are looking for. Your eyes' job is to find what you're looking for. But our eyes are failing at their job because we have looked for something that was in vanity. We've looked for something that was vanity. For us to be called an American, that was vanity. For us to join our oppressors, be in his religion, that was vanity. For us to be called Democrat and Republican, that is vanity. joining our oppressors after all the murder that they did against our people, joining their holidays, talking about some happy Thanksgiving. I watched some show. You understand? I watched some show. You understand? And this show was about how hard and difficult that this white family in this town had their lives. They were talking about how they wanted to rescue this girl, and she had an abusive family, and she was from a cult, and they were abusing everybody, and they wanted to do some ritual, and she ran away. And they invited her into her home, and they taking care of her and looking out for her, and the cult is trying to get her back. They're trying to figure out what happened, where she come from, and they go through all kind of hardships and people dying and suffering, and the relationship between the family and the children and this new adopted child gets a little rocky, and through their good times and their bad times, you know, they sticking it out. They just fighting through it. They trying to make it work. They hanging in there. And you know what they do in the middle of their suffering, as their show is trying to solicit you to give your love and your compassion, to put yourself in their shoes, so you rooting for them. So you want them to win because it's the show. You understand? And in the middle of all of that, they sitting down at the dinner table for Thanksgiving dinner, being thankful for their meal and the family staying together and the hard times that they went through and they had to endure, that they still got each other, and they happy and they thankful for it. Meanwhile, the fact that their forefathers had to murder hundreds of millions of us so that they can have Thanksgiving every year, that doesn't ever come up. That's why the Lord said you have to be sober and be vigilant. They built an entire empire on our dead bodies and our bones, and it means nothing to them. Don't you know that angers God? You sit down at some dinner table, being black and Hispanic, celebrating some Thanksgiving celebration. Don't you know that angers God to the point where he have evil happen to your children? Where he make evil happen to our families? That's why we going missing and getting killed everywhere. Because the things that we do anger the Most High. Because we are not sober and we are not vigilant. We don't understand the forces that are actually in play in this world, in this earth. We don't understand that because we are filled with, rainbows. We're filled with songs and dances and quotes and fairy tales and religious sayings instead of the actual words that God said in the Bible. You understand? That's what we filling our people with in the Isupk. And that is why brothers and sisters are living. That's why they coming alive and changing their lives. Brothers and sisters getting off of drugs, man. For the first time in their life, they're able to stay clean from being addicted to heroin and weed and cocaine and cigarettes their whole lives, having horrible drug addictions and horrible alcohol addictions, able to get clean and get strong for the first time in their life and get their lives changed around. You understand? To finally stop going back and forth to jail, man. Not being in the street, getting killed, running from the police, getting hemmed up and killed at traffic stops. Like, we putting the spirit of the Lord into our people to change our people's lives, man, so that God's protection can be over us, because God is not protecting blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who do not obey him. That's the only reason why all of this evil keeps happening, is because we as a people do not do the things that warrant God's protection. We have to change the way that we operate, change what we celebrate, change what we eat, change how we deal with one another to line up with what God wants, so that he will protect us, because he said we are being hunted. You understand? God is the one that said we're being hunted. All right? That's what the Lord said. He said, Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17. Meaning it's been this way since the days of Jeremiah. Since the days of the prophet Jeremiah, our people were still being hunted. You understand? It was true in Jeremiah's day, and it's true in this day right now. He said, as for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation of people. We watch for a nation that could not save us. We watched for America to save us. We watched for the Arabs to save us, ran and got into Islam, and then found out after our communities got flooded with pills and drugs, and we all ended up in prison with life sentences, that the nation, the Arabs and their nation, could not save us as a people. We ran to vote and be Americans and join the politics, join their military. We got rid of our Negro leagues, basketball, football, baseball, all our black things. We threw it all away to go and be more American. You understand? Our Hispanic brothers and sisters bleaching their skin, straightening their hair to get them curls out so they don't find any trace of ethnicity in you. Going to church, you understand? You straighten your kids' hair so they don't find out that you got any trace of nigger in you. Try to burn them curls out of your hair. Sister in her stand-up, Ida Rodriguez, said, I'm part Dominican and I'm part Puerto Rican. And every Saturday, my grandma would take me to the hairdresser so that they could try to burn, so they could straighten the Dominican out of my hair, so nobody found out that I was black. You understand? Like, that's what Christianity does to our people. It destroys our people. And God said we have watched for a nation that could not save us. This is an emergency situation that no one looks at it as an emergency outside of the Isupk. Nobody sees it as an emergency until Breonna Taylor gets killed in a house in her sleep. Until Aiyana Jones goes missing. You understand? No one looks at it as an emergency. That's why the Lord said, I rose up early, sending my servants the prophets, sending them early. Before everything happened, I sent prophets to you, telling you what was going to happen, and nobody gave a damn. Nobody even listened. You understand? He said, verse 18, they hunt our steps. That's exactly. If Peter is saying this in the book of 1 Peter, that your adversary as a roaring lion seeks who he can devour. Peter was saying this in the New Testament. Jeremiah is saying this in the Old Testament. We are a people that has been hunted because God made us above all the other people that are on the face of the earth. That's why we have a series called The Salt of the Earth. And the Bible is black right here on this channel in No Cowards, Richmond, and No Cowards, Virginia. You understand? He said they hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets, that we cannot go in our streets, not that we can't go in their streets. They're in our streets hunting us. Why are they in our streets hunting us? Because we have churches everywhere. And those churches galvanize our people's ability, galvanize our people's resources, galvanize our people's love, our people's minds, our desires for what we are going to do, what we think, what we believe is right and wrong. Our religious institutions dictate to us what is our culture. But at no point in time does it ever tell what God said our culture is. Like not getting high, not being a drug dealer, not eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, not having interracial marriages, not murdering our babies with abortion, not murdering your brother, not being child molesters, not being a man that dresses like a woman or a woman that dresses like a man, not putting mommy in charge of the family, not putting mommy in charge of the relationship, not telling a man he cannot have more than one woman, telling a man that he has to leave one woman in order to be with another one, telling a woman that she can leave her man and go and get another man and chase happiness, whatever the hell that means. You understand? Like, that's our heritage in the Bible, and they don't teach it. You have to come to the Isupk to learn it. You have to. And if you don't, you will not have the protection of the Lord that we so desperately need, because we have people looking to murder us. They're looking to kill our children. They are convincing and fighting and marching to make sure that your daughter kills your grandbabies. This is in her school curriculum. It's not that she should choose to have a baby. They're planning it for her. They're teaching this to her. You understand? Like, we are being hunted. That's why the Lord said they hunt our steps. In order to hunt, you have to set out bait. You understand? That's why it says in Lamentations 4:18, they hunt our steps. You have to set out bait. They know that we're in sorrow and we're in suffering and we're in mourning and we don't have our identity. So what do? They set out bait. You looking for an identity? We got an identity for you. Come join us. Make our religion popular. Take these newspapers, sell these bean pies. Fard Muhammad was a white man. And Fard Muhammad, Timothy Drew, Rahman Bey, these are circus people. You understand? That's why you got the Disney symbol. Is the same symbol. The star, the magic, doesn't have anything to do with God. Nothing. Fard Muhammad is who taught Elijah Muhammad. Fard Muhammad is a white man. Elijah Muhammad is a so-called Negro. His greatest student, you got Malcolm X. Then when Malcolm X realized that Islam was not about being black, it was actually white men that run the whole damn thing from Saudi Arabia and not black people at all. At no point in time did they tell you about the Arab Islamic slave trade when they were sex trafficking our aunts and mothers and nieces for hundreds of years back to the east coast of Africa where we ran from in the Middle East. They don't mention that at all for all you Muslims out there. That never comes up. You understand? Just like it doesn't come up for you Christians that the Ku Klux Klan is Christian and the people that sold us for hundreds of years to build America, they were all Christians. But that don't stop you from joining Islam or Christianity anyway. You know, who gives a damn about them people anyway? As long as you can love your oppressor, it's not like we have any rules or morals or guidelines or standards or, you know, it's just whatever. You know, that we have to stop. You understand? That's why the Lord is telling us to wake up and pay attention, man. We have to be sober, be vigilant, all right? It says they hunt our steps. That's why it said that we can't go in our streets, meaning they are leaving their streets to come to our streets with bait that they have. Does anybody know where weed comes from? Does anybody know where the ganja plant comes from? That you get your cannabis, that you get your weed, your gas, your loud, you understand? What is it? Your onions. Where does it come from? I'm gonna give somebody in the chat. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna come to you. I just want to know: is anybody in there? Anybody that's in here that's not slaving, driving a bus somewhere? Who knows where that weed comes from? You swear it comes from the ghetto. It comes from the projects. It comes from the trap. You understand? That's not where weed comes from. Who knows? You understand? If you've been in these Isupk classes for any point in time, any of our classes, for any number of days, weeks, or months, you should know by now where that plant comes from. Who knows where that weed comes from? We got it here. Mawasal, whoever TK Custom Service is. Hey, Shalom, all right. East India, that's correct. Whoever give TK Custom Service a hand. East India, that's correct. India, the country of India, over there. What is by India? India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. All of those places are right there together. The ganja plant comes from India. It doesn't come from Colombia. It doesn't come from Mexico. It doesn't come from El Salvador. It doesn't come from Jamaica. It doesn't come from Africa. It comes from India. And you got the ganja plant into the West from the East Indians that the British put in their plantations. They put them in power after they outlawed slavery. After they finished exploiting the East Indians, set up all of those child brothels. They have sex with all the little kids the same way that they're pushing for here in America with their LGBT movement that they could not do without black women, supporting your gay best friends to help him be a better woman, even though he hates you. That's why he's always calling you B and trying to outdo you and take your man and take your spot. I saw some cheerleading competition, and it was terrible. I saw the Hampton University, go Hampton University, man. Hampton University in a cheerleading competition with all sisters. Then we go to Howard University. of course, the chief capital of Sodom and Gomorrah, Washington, D.C., the reigning champion of homosexuality, you understand, going back and forth with Atlanta for the crown year after year. You know, they done got rid of a lot of black people, so, you know, it might be a toss-up. Atlanta might have it now. They doing the cheerleading competition, doing all their cheerleading dances, and Hampton University finished doing all their dances. Then it come time for Howard University. The Howard University cheerleaders doing their dances, and they got some gigantic nigga with gold hair shaking and dancing with the sisters. Why is that man on the cheerleading team? Because he's there to replace you, simpleton. That's one less sister that got to make the team so that they can have this man on the team. Because he's there to replace you, silly. He's not there to flatter you because he can dance like you, even though you're cheering for him because you're dumb. Even though you're supporting him because you're dumb. You're helping him dance with you because you're dumb. And now he took your spot. That's why you didn't make the team. That's why you didn't get the scholarship, because they gave it to Shamar. They gave it to Lamar. He got your scholarship. He got your scholarship money. You paying tuition out of pocket. Not Lamar. Not Anisha. You understand? Not Danielle. Danielle got your scholarship money. You paying, you get ready to get put out of school because you can't afford that Howard University tuition. He got your scholarship. He's on the women's cheerleading team at the women's battle cheerleading competition, taking your daughter's spot because you marched so that your nephew can get rights so that Jermaine can blow his back out. That's why. It's to replace you. And in your vanity, they exploit you because they know you're simple. That's the same thing that the serpent knew in the garden, which was one of the first lessons God put in the Bible. And you think the Isupk, don't love him. Hey, Salaki, brother, I see that's your name. I didn't mean you, of course. You understand? You hang in there, contact the school, we get you a Hebrew name. That way you don't have to deal with none of that, man. Get you a Hebrew name, brother, Salaki. You understand? But they exploiting our people. They know that if your community was good and strong like it was before we integrated, they couldn't tell your daughter. Your daughter would not be comfortable with a man acting like her because she would be raised with fathers and uncles and brothers who all controlled their homes that would not allow any man to behave that way in front of their daughter or their son. And there was no place for that to be except where? Where was it allowed? Where could they plant those seeds and it be acceptable so that they did not have to deal with the scrutiny that would one day turn from let's just let everybody live the way they want, let's accept everybody the way they are, let's not discriminate, and y'all got to leave spots open for men on your women's cheerleading team. Y'all got to let men in dresses and lipsticks be able to run your women's marathon race. Your little girl has to wrestle a man with two testicles and big muscles at the damn wrestling match because we got to leave the door open. We can't discriminate against men that want to wrestle girls. Then you get into the MMA. We want to let this man who chops his rod off, he wants to get in there and break girls' skulls and smash ribs. You can't discriminate against him, even though his record is 301 from killing all the females that he can because you let him put on push-up bra and he taking steroids saying he identifies as a woman. So you going to let him get in there and murder your daughter. That's where it goes. Then it's, well, what is the age of consent? You know, I think that it shouldn't be so high. People who want to have sex with children, they shouldn't have to be treated as criminals. That's their preference. They're not pedophiles. They're MAPs. They're minor attracted persons. We got to accept them into society. Then from that, well, you don't need to consent. Well, if they drugged, you took the drugs, so whatever happens, happens. Oh, well, you know, children, they're sexual beings too. You should be able to be with the children. All of that started. There was a plan in place. They were hunting you from the moment that they used Martin Luther King and that civil rights movement to push integration. They knew that they would be able to exploit our people. That's why it says in Lamentation, they hunt our steps. They were hunting to destabilize the family. That's why every Sunday that preacher degrades the black man as much as he can. If you sitting in there in some church and every Sunday your woman goes to see some man and takes half the food out of your house and all of your kids, and you say don't go and she go anyway every Sunday, that woman hates you. And the man that is telling her to disobey you, that man is against you. Sisters coming to the Isupk, we tell a sister that's still your husband. You in here learning to serve the Lord, but serving the Lord doesn't mean you get to leave and throw your husband away because now you in the truth. Is the preacher telling you? The preacher said, woman, thou art loosed. You don't need no man over you. It's you and God. That's what the serpent said to Eve. You're going to be God. They're going to worship you. She was hunted. The same way that Planned Parenthood hunted sisters, they could not have openly come out and say, you got to start killing these babies. They needed preachers. The preacher had to tell you, these families are too big. You ain't got no money to take care of them kids, sitting up in that house, making all these babies you can't take care of. They planted that seed. It wasn't going to work in the 40s, wasn't going to work in the 50s, wasn't going to work in the 60s, and then got a secret agent. He couldn't come out right and say, we got to join white people. He couldn't come out and say it. You know why he couldn't say it? Because you just finished getting your head busted in Mississippi. That's why you ran up north. He couldn't say it, but he could say that God told him to say it because you think preachers are men of God. You think Martin Luther King speaks for God because you think the preacher you go to church with every Sunday speaks for God. You think that's God talking. You think that's God saying it. And they knew that they could exploit you by believing that those are men of God. And the only way that that homosexual movement got power in the black community was in that same church. The only way to promote you integrating was with that church. God love everybody. We can't discriminate. Well, what about, you just hung my grandma from a tree. My niece is dangling from a tree. You understand? Well, we don't want to hate nobody. And then what they say, you're right, you can't be upset. Don't know. We got to jerk. Jesus said, turn the other cheek. You got to love them. That's what they said, man. You can't do that. And they taught us an evil lesson. They taught us evil things. And they gave bait to our oppressors, man. They gave bait to them to use, and they taught them what we would be susceptible to, man. Give me that Lamentations 4:18 again. They taught us what would be acceptable. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 18, man. This is the Lord said, man. They hunt our steps. They set our bait. Just like they did with that coke. Read that.
Lamentations chapter 4, verse 18. They hunt our steps.
They hunt our steps. They knew that life was hard and you were full of suffering. They knew that you were poor. How did they know? Because they had been starving our people to death for hundreds of years. Because they were in charge of distributing the wealth. They knew they wasn't giving us the wealth. And they knew if you had it, they would just justify by coming and burning down the town and stealing everything. It just come out now that Commander General Yohana just revealed on the radio show on Monday. That Ku Klux Klan, those Ku Klux Klan members was founded by the same Confederate trained military soldiers. The ones that were fighting against the Union in the Civil War, when they lost that Civil War, they didn't just disappear. They formed the Ku Klux Klan. With their military training, with their war backgrounds, their knowledge of military strategy, they formed the Ku Klux Klan. It was a military operation. That's how they were so skilled at burning down our homes and towns. And then later on, they became the police. Like we had a military force targeting poor, unarmed, and uneducated black people in the South. And then they filtered their ways into the police department, still doing the same thing. You don't know no laws, don't know rules. all kind of stuff, getting killed, don't know God, don't know our education, don't know, where we come from, what language, what we supposed to eat, how to put our communities back together. They preying on our people, just like the scripture said. They hunt our steps. They knew in the midst of the suffering and the struggling that we did, they knew that they could drop drugs into the community, and they knew that everybody that was poor, hurting, and suffering, that they would fall victim to those drugs. You know how they knew, Urash? You know how they knew? Who knows how they knew? You know how they knew? Because this is exactly what they did to the Chinese. Look up the Opium Wars and the Boxer Rebellion. They flooded Indian opium into Chinese and turned them into heroin addicts. They did it. And the Chinese had to kick them the hell out of their land and force them to shut down all of those drug dens. They had the people just sitting getting high all day, stoned out of their minds, smoking heroin, shooting up in all kind of dens. The Chinese had to crack down on that. It would have destroyed their people like it destroyed the ghetto. They knew it worked because they just finished doing it to a whole nother nation of people. Like they did government-sponsored, military-trained operations to destroy our race of people. That's how they knew to set it up in Central and South America. You know why? Because they knew that the brothers down there were poor because they were the ones that made them poor. Their people murdered the Mayans and the Aztec and wiped out the Aztec Empire and the Inca Empire and the Maya Empire and the Mapuche and the Ladinos and the Quechua and the Arawaks and the Amerindians and the Tainos. Their people ended the empire. So they knew everybody was poor. And they knew that they could exploit our people. They hunt our steps. And then they had traitors like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson to sit and help white people in their think tanks find ways to further pick apart our communities and our families. And the preachers, as they telling black people, make smaller families, you need to go and get a job and get a career and join America, which we already did and had and were coming up. They say you got to get rid of those families. You need smaller families. Smaller and smaller families, less kids. Then they demonized you for having kids. Then they demonized you for having a bigger family. That's why they're trying to punish you now. If you don't kill your kids, that's why they try to punish you, put you on child support. Try to tell your woman you should have killed that baby. You should have aborted that baby. Look what you got to deal with. You got to deal with child care. You got to put your kids in the daycare. You can't keep your families together. You got to work, all kind of things. You're not ready for no family. Look how poor you are. They know we poor because they wiped our economy out. The cities that we built with black businesses, they bombed the businesses, and whatever they didn't bomb, they flooded with crack and heroin, thanks to Al Sharpton, the mafia, and the U.S. government. So they know that you're poor. They know that we're suffering. Then they said, we'll give you government assistance because they know you need help. Because they stripped your man of all his power, all of his businesses. They wiped the black economy out with integration. And whatever integration didn't destroy, they bombed the rest of the businesses. They spent 100 years bombing black businesses. There's a book, it's called 100 Years of Lynching. It's called 100 Years of Lynching. It's one of the textbooks in the Isupk. They were killing the families who had businesses. The whole family, mama, baby, grandma, that's who they were hanging from trees. Who was doing it? The military, educated, and trained ex-Confederate soldiers that formed the Ku Klux Klan. That's who was doing it. They did this strategically. This is not just by accident. This isn't just a couple of people saying, we're just going to target them because they're doing better than us. This isn't just poor, uneducated people saying, oh, we don't like black people. Let's burn down their businesses. Let's burn them out. Let's just know this was a military government orchestrated plan that they executed flawlessly to destroy our people. That's why God said they hunt our steps. God is saying this. God is saying they're hunting our steps. You may think it's a joke when you see the prophets of God. You may hear and ignore it and go do whatever the hell you want. You will end up at a traffic stop, though. You're going to go to a grocery store. You're going to send your kids to school. You're going to go to a grocery store. You're going to go to a nightclub. You will get on that road and drive. You understand? You still going to go in that church. I understand. I understand. And when it come to pass, you shall know that a prophet have been among you. You better heed the warnings that the Lord is giving. This is not a good and safe time. It's not a safe time for our people, man. It's not. The Lord is getting ready to bring this empire down. America is getting ready to fall and descend into absolute chaos. We're not even talking about World War III. We're talking about civil. Do you know Donald Trump is getting ready to run for president again? The FBI raided his home. The FBI raided Donald Trump's home and took them documents. They said Donald Trump took classified documents, right? Donald Trump said, I ain't did nothing wrong. The FBI, they got the paperwork. They messed around and got boxes and boxes of templates. Don't have no information on there. Nothing. He said it's nothing. It's no information in a lot of the stuff. Now, they might find some stuff down the line. Of course, he wasn't supposed to take anything from the White House when he left. I guess he figured, it's my stuff. I'm leaving. I'm taking my stuff with me. You know, he ain't the brightest, but you understand, they raided this spot, and it turns out that they coming up with nothing. And he working on running again. They going to mess around and split the whole goddamn country up over this sherbet man that that a good percentage of the country still like him and still want him to rule America. Like, you don't know what's going on. That's why God said, be sober and vigilant. The Bible said there was going to be sedition among men. That's what you saw at that Capitol building in January. That was sedition. They were coming for Nancy Pelosi and what's his name? Who's the president? Mike Pence. They were coming for them. You understand? Like, you don't realize what time it is. Like, the Lord unleashed that spirit, and it's not been fully unleashed. It's going to turn all the way up, and our poor people is not going to know the first thing to do. You think the first thing to do is go and run to church. You running to church and singing and dancing, thinking you're going to run in the church, and Dylan Roof going to run right in that church with you. You're going to be told it ain't about race. Let's pray for America. And they send 2 Dylan Roofs in that church. 1 Dylan Roof killed 10 people. 2 Dylan Roofs, he at the damn carnival fair. You giving out hugs and kisses. Like, you better get in here. Like, time is short. The Lord said, redeem the time because the days are evil. You understand? Go ahead and finish that Lamentations 4:18.
Sir. That we cannot go in our streets.
We can't go in our own streets. They're hunting our streets. Meaning this is your neighborhood. They're in your neighborhood asking you where you are going in your neighborhood. And do you know why they're doing that? Because you don't rule your neighborhood anymore. There was a time when you did rule your neighborhood. There was a time that the father that ruled the neighborhood, he ruled that house too. And he decided what his woman was and was not going to do. What she was going to say, what she was going to wear, what she was going to teach the kids. He decided what those kids did and didn't do. And you know what took that power away from him? The Christian church, the Christian preacher. They got your woman building up mega churches. They building multi-million-dollar churches, and the whole community around the church goes into foreclosure. Who's doing that? Your woman is. The same one is telling you that you need to go and get a job while she makes some pimp rich every Sunday, and he take the money and then go move to Atlanta with all your money like Jamal Bryant did to Baltimore. You understand? They hunt our steps. You are supposed to be in charge of your community. The church told you to go and vote and get into politics. You can't run your community from politics because politics is about what's best for America, not what's best for the poor people that grew up where you grew up. You have nothing to offer a politician. You don't have business contracts and millions of dollars and plans for the city to offer a politician. The hell is your vote matter? Somebody going to give him $3 million to tear down your apartment complex and build a condo and set up casinos. What does your vote matter to him? You have nothing to offer him. Yet and still, You out there helping him campaign like your life matters somehow to America. Like that's a game.
Right.
Because you're looking for a government, you're looking for a place to belong, and the ISUPK is the government for our people. You're looking to fit into a society. This is why the Lord said, if you are seeking to be a friend of the world around you, a friend of the world makes you an enemy to God, because your loyalty and friendship to America will put you at crosses with what God wants. God doesn't want homosexuality. America does. God doesn't want a woman to murder her baby. America does. God doesn't work interracial marriages. America says it's okay. God doesn't want us eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. America says you have a right to eat what you want. They're delicacies. You understand? God doesn't want you in America's military and their politics and their government. America says the government is open for all people. Like you being a friend of the world puts us in the crosshairs so that God is not on our side. That makes us enemies to God. You understand? And when we are enemies to God and we have a nation of people that are hunting us, then our sons get executed at traffic stops. You understand? Freddie Gray gets the disc in his spinal column severed by the Baltimore Police Department. Tamir Rice gets executed at the playground by the Ohio police. Breonna Taylor gets executed in her bed by the Kentucky police, wherever she was. George Floyd gets his neck snapped with a knee on his throat for 10 minutes. You understand? That's what happens. That's why it's important we turn back and serve the Lord, man. All you got to do is come to class. Get in the ISUPK, we'll teach you, man. But get in here quick. You understand?
Right.
All right. They hunt our steps that we cannot go on our streets. Keep going.
Our end is near.
Our end is near, man. Our life is about to be over because they're hunting us. Keep going.
Our days are fulfilled.
Meaning our punishment is supposed to be over. They keeping the punishment going. Slavery is supposed to be over. How are you still getting mass herded into prison pens, into fields? They down there working slave fields in Louisiana, in Alabama, in Mississippi. They got Hispanic brothers all over America. The damn ICE and the FBI had to raid plantations. They got brothers and sisters at gunpoint in Georgia, rural areas in Georgia, picking all kind of crops and vegetables under armed guard. They had to come and rescue them brothers and sisters, man. Like our nation is split up. You got to get in here and build your nation. Time out for doing whatever the hell you want to do. You won't think it's important to build your nation until you end up in the back of a van carried off to one of these plantations and nobody know where the hell you are. You're just another one of those faces. Have you seen my son? Have you seen my daughter? That's where our people end up. That's why we are building our nation. You understand? Because this is what God said to do. The church don't teach you nothing about this. You think your nation is America. God hates America. You understand? Right. The Bible say the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, and he's going to destroy it from off the face of the earth. God hates America. Everything God is against, America promotes. All nations of people coming together, God been against that since the beginning of Genesis. The flood was about interracial marriages. Killed everybody but 8 people. The earth repopulated. He made all different people, different languages, and separated them on the planet Earth so that they couldn't communicate with each other. God been against that forever. And that's exactly what America stands for. You understand? So keep going.
For our end is come.
Our end is come. Our end is coming. Keep going.
Verse 19. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven.
They're swift. They're quick. The people that persecute us, they are very quick. They swoop in with that task force. They swoop in with them lights. You driving, you don't even see them. They come out of nowhere, them lights behind you. They swift. They quick. You think they can ask you some questions? They asking no questions. They shooting up the car. Just like Sean Bale. And asking no questions. What questions did they ask of Tatiana Jefferson? But they shot through her window and killed her at a wellness check. They didn't ask no questions. What questions did Amber Geiger ask Botham Jean before she killed him in his living room, in his drawers? She shot him through the door. What questions did she ask him? I wonder, what did Betty Shelby ask Terrence Crutcher when she executed him when his truck broke down in the middle of the damn highway? What questions did Betty Shelby ask Terrence Crutcher? And they asked no question. They were swift like an eagle. You don't even see where they're coming from. They drop a bomb from the clouds on you with a C-130 or a Predator drone. All you hear is a whistle. By the time you hear that whistle, you're dead.
Right.
100 miles away, blowing up your whole country from a goddamn command center Air Force base. Look like PlayStation headquarters, just flying Predator drones, bombing all the Arabs. You understand? You're not going to defeat the devil that the Bible speaks of, fighting him with no rifle or no pistol. You got to get in here and serve the Lord. The Lord got to deal with this man. You understand? So keep going.
They pursued us upon the mountains.
They chased us into the mountains. Keep going.
They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
They laid wait for us in the wilderness. They waited to ambush us. All you black people thinking, whatever fake Israelite group, last time I was in Clubhouse, boy, your brothers and sisters in trouble, man. We cannot say this enough. It seemed like we beating a dead horse. But brother, if you understood why we are saying this, some nut scared to call the oppressor the devil that the Bible speaks of is telling people that he leads some Israelite congregation somewhere. And he telling black people that you're going to have to leave the cities and run into the wilderness because the city's going to be too dangerous. Don't you know they waiting for your simple behind in the wilderness?
Right.
Like, that's the exact same mistake that our people made when they refused to follow Mattathias in First Maccabees. The Lord, through Mattathias, said, everybody drop what you got and come with me now. They waited a little bit later till they protest and their own movements got going, and then they went into the wilderness, and 3,000 of them died in that wilderness because the Lord was not with them. Right. They didn't realize the Lord was not with them up until the moment that the Greeks killed them. They thought the Lord was with them. The Lord was not with them. They died for nothing. You understand? Don't be them. Don't be those brothers. Don't do what you did the last time you were alive and not follow Mattathias. You understand? Don't be Korah and Dathan. Don't be them again. You understand? They laid wait for us in the wilderness, meaning they were waiting to ambush us. That's exactly what they did to the Pequot Indians when they slaughtered them in the middle of the night. They were waiting in the woods as they set the teepees on fire. Anyone that tried to run into the woods to escape the fire, they were just waiting and just gunned everybody down. You understand? I'm not making this up. You go on YouTube and see. You think you're going to go out in the woods and the Lord going to be with you in the woods like he wasn't with you in the city. It's just going to be safe out there. Everybody going to barter together. You understand? You are out of your mind, man. You better get in here. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You're going to be in a cage in the back of a pickup truck headed to one of them plantations in rural Georgia somewhere with no street lights, no stop signs, no crossways. You understand? You're going to be on that plantation growing grapes and oranges. You better get in the ISUPK, man.
Right.
Like, that's what the Lord said. That our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven, man. They swift. All right. That's what the Lord is trying to explain to us. Give me Joel chapter 9 and verse 24. As a matter of fact, we might go to Obadiah 1 first. Let's go to Obadiah 1. As a matter of fact, let's go to Obadiah 1. So, like, go to Obadiah chapter 1. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 1. So, like, go to Obadiah 1 and 1.
Obadiah chapter 1 verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Most High power concerning Edom.
Concerning Edom, Edom is the so-called is the oppressor, the so-called white man, the so-called Caucasian man, all of his families, his bands, his militaries, his governments, all of them, the Russian, the French, the Dutch, all of them are the nation of Edom. The American white man, the French, British, Scottish, Dutch, Irish white man, German, Italian, Sicilian white man, the Soviet bloc white men, the Ukrainian ones. You understand? The long haired one, the blue green eyed ones, the ones that look like Bob Marley, the ones that look like Louis Farrakhan, the seed of Edom. You understand? So-called oppressor, so-called Caucasian. You understand? If your father is one of them, you are an Edomite. You are the children of Edom, according to the Bible. This is what the Lord is saying about the nation of Edom. Keep going.
We have heard a rumor from the Most High.
The Lord starting a rumor. He said, we have heard a rumor, meaning the God of the Bible wants this rumor to be spread. And that's what we doing. We spreading the prophecies, the rumor from the Most High. Keep going.
And an ambassador is sent among the heathen.
An ambassador sent among the heathen. Why is this ambassador sent among the heathen? Not an ambassador sent to the children of Israel. This is an ambassador. The Lord wants this message to go to the heathen, all of the other nations, the Chinese, you understand, the Arabs, the East Indians, the Japanese, the Koreans, you understand, all of them. Keep going.
Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Saying all of the nations are getting ready to rise up against her in battle. They're getting ready to rise up against the nation of Edom. That's why the Lord is telling you, depart from her, that you be not partakers of her sins. They're not going to forgive America for killing their people the way that you forgive America for killing yours, because you don't care about your forefathers because you're a Christian. You don't care about all the slavery, the rape, the robbery, and murder that the Arabs and the other nations and the oppressor has done to your people because you're a traitor and you serve their religions and you're not sober and vigilant, and you don't love your people. You love the other nations of people. That's why in the Isupk, we teach our people how to love our own. That's why it sounds so strange to you, because you've never met actual Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that love their people. You've met people that talk about loving their people, that say nice words about their people, that say things and enjoy the culture about their people, but not people who've actually loved our people. That's in the Isupk. That's why what we say is so different from everything that you've heard your entire life. Like, we're not Africans. The Africans have to pay for selling us into slavery, just like the Arabs do, just like the Asians and East Indians and the oppressor. Everyone that got rich off of us being in slavery, when Christ returns, they have to pay for it. This isn't anything personal. This is our family. This is what God said. We had to pay for the sins we did against God, and the other nations have not yet paid for their sins that they have done against our God, which so happens to be the real God that created everything, that is in charge of everything, even though all of the other nations have their own gods, which is not the God of this Bible. You understand? That's our God as a nation of people. So keep going.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
The Lord is going to make Edom small. You understand? You thought that they were above being refugees until Russia invaded Ukraine. That's why they had to say on CNN, this is a developed nation. This isn't, Africa or the Middle East, or, these aren't Arabs or Iraqis or African refugees. These are, a developed, civilized nation in Ukraine that they're having to flee from this. They're trying to say that these aren't your local, not important people. These are good white people that are fleeing from war in their white country. Unlike the Africans and Arabs and everybody else that is used to having to flee from war in their country, now these are white people running from war and bombs in their white country, which is not how it normally is. That's why the Bible is saying this. So keep going.
Thou art greatly despised.
He said, thou art greatly despised. Everybody is waiting for their opportunity to pay them back. Your economy's falling apart. that crypto nonsense is going to hell. You're still trying to bounce back from the COVID. This monkeypox has exploded. They're going to have to shut down with the monkeypox. You done let all the homosexuals adopt children, and now the children is getting the monkeypox that the Lord is plaguing their parents with. No, what the hell was you thinking giving 2 men a baby to raise or 2 women a baby to raise? You thought it was a good idea. The Lord said a plague will not come without a cause. You understand? Now the baby's getting sucked into the damn monkeypox because we have chosen and were taught to accept lifestyles that are against God, that God did not approve of, but America approved of it. And because we serve America as a people and not the God of the Bible, now our Black and Hispanic babies have to suffer with the damn monkeypox, right along with their parents, man. Like your actions will cause trouble and suffering to happen to your whole family. You have to stop thinking as an individual what pleases you, what makes you happy. You will put everyone's lives in jeopardy by your own selfish desire and lust to chase your pleasures and happiness. Your life, liberty, and the pursuit of goddamn happiness got the baby's monkeypox. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 3. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee.
The pride of our oppressor's heart has deceived them. The pride, how proud and arrogant, because of your missiles and your military and your economy. You're able to bully nations and kill their leaders just by calling them terrorists. Force people to step down rulership over their own countries. If they don't do it, then you rise up their own people to wipe them out, like Muammar Gaddafi, like the prime minister of Egypt. You force him to step down, and King Assad in Syria. You understand? And Ahmadinejad in Iran, at the threat of bombing them and wiping their country and their people out and ruining their economy, you force them to obey you. That's why the beast in Revelation causes everyone who will not worship the image of the beast, you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade. You won't, if you don't play ball with the oppressor and his way of life, he's going to shut you and your people down. That's what happened to Venezuela. That's what happened to Cuba. You understand? Starve you to death so that you can't trade or sell in your own country. You understand? If you don't obey the beast. That's what happened to Haiti. You understand? That's why Haiti is so poor, because Haiti did not want to obey the beast. And because of that, they made them pay many, many times over just for not wanting to be enslaved anymore. That's how cruel our oppressor is. And that is why the Lord says, send this vision of the prophets so that all of the heathen are stirred up to be prepared for battle against the oppressor. You better be separate from America. You loving America. You're going to send they're going to send, and that women's equality that everybody wanted. Well, guess what? I believe President Biden got that thing passed when he got in office. Everybody talk that equality. All right. When that draft come around, you're going to be equally drafted.
Right.
They're going to put a rifle in your hand and put you in some fatigues and send you over to fight the Chinese with your damn equality.
Right.
Brittany Griner learning a good lesson about equality. Why don't you let men play basketball and you go be a wife and a mother with a husband? You understand? That pride of America has deceived our people into thinking that means something for us. God didn't give us a right to get high or be drug dealers. That's deceiving. You understand? The Lord said your pride, your HBO, your power, your money, your economy, you understand, have deceived you. Who is it talking about? Keep going.
Thou, it's like a thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
Who dwells in the clefts of the rocks? Talking about the caveman, the so-called Caucasian. The word Caucasian means cave dweller. That's where they come from. The rocks, the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia, between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea off the Gulf of Aqaba. Never forget, Commanding General Johanna taught us that many years ago. That's who lives in the rock. That's why everywhere you go, you walk on stones. You're not walking on the actual ground. They got concrete and asphalt everywhere. Why is there concrete and asphalt all over the place? Why is that? Because this is a caveman. Caveman turns the world into stone. You understand? because he comes from the stones. He comes from the rocks. Keep going.
Kind of a con, sir. Whose habitation is high.
Whose habitation is high. That's why they build skyscrapers. Why they have a building that high up in the air? Because that's where they come from. It reminds them of home. Why do they build a house in the side of a mountain? Because it reminds them of home. That's their spirit. Their habitation is high. They live in the clefts of the rocks. This is the same curse that the Lord put on Cain, that the Lord put back on Esau. This is who Job was talking about when he said they live in the caves. They're always on the run. They live in the caves. They live in the mountains. This is who the Bible is describing. This is who the devil that the Bible speaks of. This is who's being described. Keep going.
Thou saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Says in his heart, who gonna see me? Who gonna do something to me? With my army, my navy, my air force, my marines, my predator drones, my destroyers, my Tomahawk, my cruise missiles, my C-130s. Who is gonna do anything to me? My B-2 bombers, my Raptors, my Apaches, and Chinooks, and schooners, and submarines, and SEAL teams, and Delta Force, and all of these things here, and the 5th Infantry, and all of this. Who is going to see me with the Frogman, and the SEALs teams, and the Green Beret? Who going to see me? Who going to do something to me with this power that I have? You understand? That's what's in the heart of our oppressors. The power that because of your power in your mind, you believe that you can now say what is life and what isn't life. Right. Bacteria is life until it comes to being a pregnant black woman. Then that baby is not really alive. Like, that's pride. That's the pride and vanity in your heart. And that is what has infected our people. You understand? We have the children of fools, base men that are viler than the earth. That is who is teaching and educating our people how to live life. That's why we destroyed. That's why we jammed up. Right. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
As what?
As the eagle.
That's why you have that eagle on the post office truck. Is what?
As the eagle.
Great seal of the United States is what?
As the eagle.
That symbol for the Congress is what?
As the eagle.
Spain had the what?
As the eagle.
Russian Empire had the what?
As the eagle.
Conquistadors in Rome had what?
As the eagle.
That is the symbol for all of the white nations. It has always been the eagle. Hitler had the eagle. France had the eagle. Belgium had the eagle. The Roman Empire had the eagle. That has always been their symbol as the eagle. That's why I keep saying the eagle, the eagle, the eagle all throughout the Bible. It is describing to you exactly who God is talking about. Keep going.
Come on, sir. And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Set thy nest where?
Among the stars.
Where?
Among the stars.
How do you set a nest among the stars? Who knows? Mawasar, how do you set a nest amongst the stars? What is the Bible talking about? Who made a nest among the stars? Where are the stars? Young man Jermaine in Pittsburgh. Sister Anna, where is a star located? Where are the stars? Who else is in class here? Instagram, MeWe, Facebook. Who are the stars? Where is a star located? How do you get to a star? Where is it? Is a star down the street? Is a star at the top of your house? Is a star in the grocery store? How do you get to a star? Where? We up on the time. Y'all type in when y'all get to it because y'all taking a little long. A star is in outer. Go ahead. Go ahead, you brothers.
Like it's outer space.
A star is in outer space. That's correct. The stars are in outer space. How do you set a nest? A nest is a place that you live. You store things. You gather things. Go ahead, Yuraj.
That's the ISS, the International Space Station.
The International Space Station is a nest amongst the stars.
Right.
They made a nest amongst the stars. All nations come together. This is exactly what everyone sought to do in the Tower of Babel. And God stopped them from making a tower to reach to heaven. This same spirit of arrogance got an international space station to make a nest amongst the stars. Who did that? America did that. The oppressor did that. The people whose symbols are eagles, they did that. Then they brought the other nations into it, you understand, with the international space. Damn right, Anna, it's in space. They made a nest, a home in space.
Right.
You can't get, you understand? These are prophecies in the Bible from thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, the Lord revealed this to the prophet Obadiah. There was no people going up where the stars are, but it was a prophecy, and the Lord told him to say it, and he said it because the Lord gave him that vision, and he wrote what he saw. And today, the vision of the prophet Obadiah, that is exactly what is happening today. Donald Trump made a space military because they have a nest amongst the stars. They are planning to fight Christ, who's going to come from the stars. They know that. That's why they made Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek, all out in space, fighting and having wars, and Gundam Force. All of this battling in space. It's in the Bible.
Right.
Not those shows specifically, but having a nest amongst the stars. This is what it's talking about. You understand? There's a whole lot more in the Bible. The Bible is not for songs and dance and choir rehearsals. It's actual education that God intends for his sons and daughters to know in that Bible that we have never been taught. Life and death lessons. The difference between knowing that if you go this way, the road ends and you're going to fall off a cliff, or if you go this way, you'll live forever. There's a big difference, and we've not been taught these things, and it is costing our people their lives, just like it cost this young brother his life in Woodbridge last week. You understand? Keep going.
Thence will I bring thee down. From
the top, one more time.
Verse 4 from the top. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
You exalted yourself as the eagle. The eagle is the top predatory bird. They say the eagle has landed. Eagle one, eagle one. Keep going.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
You make a place to live amongst the stars. You in outer space, you made yourself a nest. You understand? You know what type of power you have to go into outer space. There's no air out there. There's no gravity. There's no air. How the hell do you, if something goes wrong, how you get back home? You can't GPS your way to get back home. You can't just fly your way back home. You can't book another flight, book another plane ticket. You can't call a Lyft. You can't call an Uber. You can't swim. You can't fly. How the hell do you get back home? How you know you're going to go out there and not get stuck? Like, that's the pride of their heart, to challenge God, to challenge the Lord, to buck up against God, that we're going to go out here and set a nest amongst the stars. That's the same spirit. You understand? That's the spirit of telling a man he could put on a dress and be a woman. Telling a woman she could cut off her breasts and take hormone pills to suppress her femininity, so you'll think Brittany Griner is a man. You understand? To try to make a war and battle of the sexes so men and women is competing for each other. God didn't make that. The oppressor made that. Tell a woman she's supposed to go and serve God. The Lord made a woman to be with her husband and help build him up and strengthen that family. The church is ruining women, sitting them in there thinking they're supposed to be serving God. You can't open the Bible and show me book after book, name after name of all of these women that was in the temple serving God in the New and the Old Testament. You can't do it because God never had it set up that way. Half of the New Testament is telling you don't have a bunch of women sitting up in your church, in your school. Let them go and marry. Let them take care of their nieces and nephews at home. Let them learn how to love their husbands and be good wives and be free from sexual immorality and love their own children. Have they behind in the house. Don't have them all out in the street chasing pleasures. That's the whole New Testament right there.
Right.
They don't teach none of that in the church, and it costs our people to lose their lives, man. Our people dying behind this, and they're lying. Our people sincerely believe that they are in the church learning about God. When I went to church, I sincerely believed that I was sitting in church learning about God until one day the Lord sent the word of the prophets to me. Seeing Commander General Yohanan, the generals on the street teaching the Bible. As I'm thinking I'm learning about God, and come to find out everything I was taught in that church had been an absolute lie. All of it. It was all a lie. You weren't going to die and go to heaven. Your grandma and your cousins and your friends that got murdered in the streets is not sitting at some endless cookout with Michael Jackson and Tupac waiting for you to die. None of that nonsense is real, man. All of those lies that we base our life on, they are lies. That's why they don't work. That's why our families fail. That's why our kids end up in prison and dead in the damn street, because they teach us lies. That's why you got more than ever Black and Hispanic kids committing suicide. When you got Black people killing themselves, because the lies that our people have been taught has destroyed us, man. And it's the fault of the Christian church. They got so much blood on their hands. Every one of you preachers, every one of you religious leaders, you have a ridiculous amount of blood on your hands. And God is coming to collect that blood on your head.
Right.
It's a terrible day coming when God come to collect that. A lot of these killings and things, you might not realize what's happening. God is spinning back around. God's spinning through with that death angel, and he collected, man. You brothers and sisters, get in here, repent, change your life, man, so that the Lord will have mercy on them, so that we don't die, man. Killing don't just happen out the blue. The Lord give orders for people to die. It don't just magically happen. That's another thing they don't teach you in church. The Lord has to give an angel an order to go and take someone's life. You understand? You don't just up and die and oops, what happened? No. The Lord give an order. Everyone. The Lord give an order. You understand? We've not been taught about the God of the Bible, and it's a shame and it's a crime, because we are supposed to know. You understand? Just like all the other nations of people, they know their heritage, they know their culture, they know their traditions and their language and their records, but we don't, because our leaders are worthless. You understand? Keep going.
Come, sir. This will I bring thee down, saith the Most High.
The Lord said, you go and set you a nest amongst the stars. I'm going to bring you down from there. That's right. What the Lord said. And that's exactly what our oppressor did, man. Set a nest amongst the stars. Who the hell gave you permission to leave Earth in the first place?
Right.
Who gave you permission to go into outer space? Who did that? Who did you request to get permission to find out if you were cleared to leave Earth? God put people on Earth. Who the hell told you God meant for people to go to space? You can't breathe out there. There's no water out there. There's no animals or vegetables for you to eat. You got to take your own food with you. Who the hell told you you're supposed to be out there? The oppressor. He decided himself, I'm going to make a nest amongst the stars. That's arrogance. You understand? Right. That's some type of arrogance. You understand?
That's right.
Yeah, all right, keep going. Give me verse 5. We'll end it at 5.
Verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night.
If a thief came into your house and robbers by night, some thieves come to break in your house. God is using an example. If a thief came to break in your house at nighttime, you sleep, you're probably tired from working all day, you sleep, you may have had a couple of drinks so you can get some good rest. The kids is in bed, you understand, dinner is all cooked and put away, the animals is all put away, the dogs is where they need to be, your barns is full, you understand, everything and everyone is turned in for the night, getting their rest, you understand, and then it's nighttime, and now here comes a thief to take from you. This is how the Lord describes these people. This is how the Lord describes the nation of Edom. Keep going.
How art thou cut off?
Meaning the Lord is furious. This is in quote, this is in parentheses. It said, how art thou cut off? Like the Lord is saying, I'm tired of these damn people. I'm tired of them. The Lord is fed up with this, man. The Lord intended to put this people here, that people here. And then there's some people that take people from everywhere and move them somewhere else. Like the Lord intended for people to be in a certain place. Right. There's a bear that God intended to live in a certain place. That grizzly bear don't belong in the North Pole. The seal does not belong in the damn Sea World. The Lord put that seal someplace where it's goddamn freezing. He put that penguin somewhere where it's freezing. You take that flamingo, he does not belong where it's freezing. Like God put everything where it's supposed to be. And then there's one thing that he made that moves everything and puts it somewhere else. If you ever had kids, you imagine with your kids, you set up everything all nice and neat, you put it away. You go to get your phone, you go to the bathroom, you come back. The stuff you put on top of the table is on the floor. The juice you put in the cup is on the floor. The stuff you just cleaned got crayon all over it. Like it's a damn mess. And that's what these people do. They make a mess everywhere. You can ask the fish in the sea. You can ask the ocean, ask the jungle, ask the forest, ask the sky with all the chemtrails, the animals that's extinct on the endangered species list. Everywhere he go, he just makes a mess. Ruins everything. Like, this is why the Lord put that. How ought they cut off? Like, damn. Like, this is what's being said in this scripture. So you know exactly who the Lord is talking about. Keep going.
Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
He's saying if a thief came and robbed your house in the middle of the night, like, goddamn, would they not have stolen till they had enough? I can see you done broke in the house. Maybe they stole the TV. Maybe you stole a TV, stole some jewelry, maybe some silverware. But damn, you stole the pictures of my family off the wall. You stole the socks and the drawers out my drawer. You took the butter out my refrigerator. Like, goddamn. You took my laundry detergent. You stole my toothpaste. Like, goddamn, you steal everything. My drywall is gone. My carpet is pulled up. Like, this bastard stole everything. Like, this is what the Lord is saying. Like, damn, you going to kill the people, and now you going to go on the reservation and say you the Native Americans. You going to sign a treaty with yourself saying that you the people that you and your father just finished murdering. Yeah, that's me. It's terrible. We got to get a relief fund going. Like, goddamn, like, you just a wicked bastard. Like, this is what the Lord is saying. You understand? Like, goddamn, how much? When is it gonna be enough? I'm in my bed sleep. It's a nigga taking the socks off my feet. Like, goddamn, how much are you going to steal? Like, go ahead.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Even if you understand and familiar with the process of gathering grapes, it is impossible for you to go and get grapes and not drop grapes. I don't care if you're in a grocery store. I don't care if you're pulling grapes from a vine. It is impossible for you to go anywhere and get grapes and not drop some grapes. It's damn near impossible. You must be a ninja if you don't drop a grape. You understand? It's impossible. But he said, if the grape gatherers come to get the grapes, it should still be some grapes left. Like, there are no grapes. Like, none. There's none on the ground. Nowhere. Like, everything has been taken to literally starve people to death. That's what this oppressor does. They starve everyone to the point where if they don't go now and start kidnapping and bombing other places, they have nothing. You stole their gold, you stole their oil, you stole their land. You're telling people not to follow their religion anymore. You took their woman away and turned them into feminists. Like, goddamn, can they have anything? He figured the only thing he can do now is go and destroy stuff because you stole everything from him. You understand? Like, everywhere. The deer is getting hit all in the street. I know that was a big problem some years ago. Deer getting hit. Well, they done carved up the damn forest and put houses all in there. Where the deer is supposed to go? Like, nothing can keep its home with these people around. The birds don't have a forest. The deer don't have a forest. The cats can't be in the jungle no more. The damn bear has no place to go. The fish can't swim in the water no more. Everyone has to move when this plague comes that destroys everything. Like, this is who the Bible is talking about. You understand? Give me verse 6.
So verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out?
Like the things of Esau, all the crimes of these people, they being sought up. Like, man, this is enough. All right. Give me down to verse 10.
Verse 10. Sir.
Salaki, give me verse 8.
Salaki.
Salaki. It's too good. We're just going to read these last few. It's too good to stop on this part. Give me verse 7. Just keep going to verse 7.
Sir. The end of verse 6. How are his hidden things sought up?
All of the hidden things you've stolen, all the crimes is sought up. All of the evil things that you've done for all these years is coming out. Like I brought out, like a manager in the Ohana brought out for years, people thought the Ku Klux Klan was just uneducated people just attacking black families. These was a military organized, military trained Confederate soldiers that established this order. They making monuments and statues at all your military training academies and facilities to these Confederate generals and all over America, and they lost the war. You understand? Robert E. Lee and I think Sherman and all the rest of them and all of them, and like, this is who was really coming after us. They studied, they trained, they prepared, and now they get to take out their vengeance on their own failures on our people.
Right.
And the only thing that's going to stop them from being able to take out their vengeance, that their empire failed and they lost the war, is you not eating pork.
Right.
And you not eating shrimp and crabs and not celebrating Christmas and not celebrating birthdays and New Year's. You understand? That's the only thing that's going to stop them in their quest to kill us at traffic stops.
Right.
If we don't obey the Lord, we pray. It's that simple. If we do, then the Lord will protect us, and he won't be, and the people that's hunting us won't be able to harm us. You understand? Where we at? 909. Go ahead, give me a little more. Give me 7.
Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Hold on. The men of thy confederacy. We were just talking about the Confederates.
Right.
Right here in the Bible, they called it the Confederate Army. Now, how is that? It's written in the Bible. We talking about the children of Edom. We talking about the Confederate Army, and Confederate is right here in the Bible.
Right.
You understand? Like, that's the Lord did. The men of thy confederacy, all the people that you gathered together to help destroy the children of Israel, the Chinese you helped set up businesses over top us in the ghetto, the East Indians that you put in power in the ghetto, all of the other nations of people and Arabs you set up with chicken spots and hip-hop chickens and take over the rap game and own the record labels, all the people that work with you to get rich. Keep going.
Sir. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
Oh, you thought that they loved you because they was at peace with you. You thought they forgot about all of their people that you blew up. You thought them Vietnamese forgot about you napalming them in the jungles of Vietnam. You thought the Koreans forgot about you bombing them in Seoul, South Korea. You thought they forgot about you splitting their country up and making a division in their family. You thought the Japanese forgot about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You thought it was all good. They able to sell their PlayStations and all their electronic devices. You thought China was cool with you. You thought they loved you because you in here making money. That's the way that our people believe.
Right.
But you have been deceived. The Lord put that spirit on our oppressor to deceive him as well, because these other nations cannot stand the oppressor, but they do worship his money. You understand? So keep going.
They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
They eating your bread. They getting food from you. They eating from your economy. Your wealth and your riches is building up their country. They're getting weapons and missiles from you. They're getting power and getting strong from you. Bin Laden got strong because of America.
Right.
Saddam Hussein was strong because of America. Muammar Gaddafi was strong at one point because he was dealing with America. And he decided, I don't want you telling me what to do. I ain't listening to you. The hell are you? I'm a man like you a man. You rule your house, I'll rule my house. What he forgot was that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And what the oppressor has never had to face, God put him in power. Now God is going to remove his power from him. And he and his empire are going to fall. And our people must be prepared for that by obeying the Lord and building up our nation. This place going under. You understand? Keep going.
There is none understanding in him.
He's not going to understand anything about it. He's thinking everything is good. You in his military. How could you let another race of people in your military? You giving them all of this training to kill and survive war and do all kind of tactics and stuff. You understand? You giving them all that training. Guess who all of that those cartels got the training from? The CIA. Guess who trained Bin Laden? CIA. Guess who trained all those Mujahideen fighters that later became ISIS and Al Qaeda? America.
Right.
Guess who trained them? The same people they turned against. And that's going to happen more and more. Y'all better stop listening to Biden. You out there protesting like a dummy, talking about we need gun control. Gun control. Is gun control going to stop the police from executing your nephew at a traffic stop?
Right.
No. Is it going to stop the police from shooting and killing a Tatiana Jefferson in her house? Or both of them, Gene? No. And guess what? The guns that's doing the crimes in your community, those guns are already illegal. The police get criminals with those guns, and then they take and put those guns back on the street so that new criminals can commit crimes with those guns so that they can lock up the new criminals. They're not interested in gun control. They just want to put your people in jail so that they can get rich. You got to stop trying to be a part of America. America's solution and their politics is not a part of the solution to our problems. The solution to our problems is to get in the Isupk and build up Christ's kingdom. You understand? Christ's going to burn all this up anyway. This place is going to be a desert, just like Egypt is a desert.
Right.
You understand? Where they living at in Egypt, they not living with all them temples and Luxor temples and all of that. All that stuff is sand and dirt and them pyramids. That's it. The Nile dried up. All of that's gone. Damn near. You understand? So go, keep going. Go ahead and finish these last few. It's a lot.
There is none understanding in him.
You don't understand this at all. You sitting in your cabinet, you got all other nations of people as if they were all supposed to betray their people so that they can uphold America. Everybody loved the Titanic till that ship started to sink. I love that movie. I think that movie is hilarious. You understand? Everybody loved the Titanic till that ship started to go upside down.
Right.
You understand? But keep going.
Shall I not in that day, saith the Most High, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
All your wise men, the Lord said your wise men going to be destroyed. All of your political analysts, and you said, well, if you need to just do this, and if you check the history of there, and this has been our enemy for some time, and Hannity and Rachel Maddow and all your political experts and your Fox and your CNN and your talkers sitting there talking about trying to keep the empire spirits up, all that's going to be over. The Lord is going to take that spirit out of them. They have that power because God gave it to them, and God is going to take it away as soon as you stop eating pork. As soon as we stop and we cut those dreadlocks out of our hair, stop getting shape-ups, you understand? Stop making whores out of our sisters. Sisters, stop aborting your babies. You understand? Stop having sex with multiple men, sisters. You understand? You stay with that baby daddy, man. You stay with him. You made kids with him. That's your husband. You can't leave him. You understand? Soon as we start to turn back and obey the Lord, you put down that crab, put down that shrimp, that foot will stop swelling up, and that blood will start to function right in your body. Guess what? The Lord will break their spirit. You understand? Keep going.
and understanding out of the mount of Esau.
That mouth is not going to have the understanding. Right now, it seems like they open their mouth, they know all the solutions to everybody's problem, but they won't be able to have the solution to their problems. That monkeypox explode and the COVID double back around, spin the block again. That's it right there, man.
Right.
You help give all the sodomites all the rights you can. And now the monkeypox break out with the new super herpes, the new super gonorrhea, the hepatitis. You got men in dresses. You got no gendered bathrooms at the schools with your kids. You got pedophile rights that they working on, and they are going to get. Like your beloved Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Everybody love Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg want to lower that consent rate so that you don't have to consent as an 18-year-old. Let's get it around 15, 16, get a little lower. You know, she ready. She know what she doing. They know. You understand? That's what they fighting for. You thinking you a part of America. Like your vote counts. You don't know what the hell you doing. You helping the empire push their evil further and further with your help. Meanwhile, your neighborhood get worse and worse until they gentrify it and you are gone. Then it'll be perfect. You understand?
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 9. And thy mighty men, all timid, shall be dismayed.
Teman. Teman is a family of the Edomites. That's the strongest, the smartest of the Edomites are the Temanites. Those are the Germans. Your German engineers, your Nazi scientists, that is the Temanites. Teman is a family of the Edomites. You understand? So-called Germany. That's Teman. You understand? Say, your mighty men shall be dismayed because they're so smart. They got so much education. A lot of the things that the Nazis did, America learned. America did and incorporated, like putting fluoride in the water, putting lead in the water, lead in the food, all these experiments that the Nazis did. The Nazis learned and practiced a lot of what they did from what America had done to the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Issachar, the tribe of Judah. You understand? When they came and took this land and enslaved and murdered everybody. You understand? So keep going.
Sir. To the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
By slaughter. The Lord is saying this. The Lord gonna cut them off by slaughter. That's what's coming. It hasn't come yet. You understand? But you better not be with them when the Lord sends it. Ain't nothing you could do to stop the Lord. This
That's
evil
right.
has been happening to us because the Lord has been sending it. But you have not seen the evil that the Lord has prepared for the Edomites, prepared for this oppression in these other nations. You haven't seen this evil. The Lord sends evil, and he has evil coming. You understand? Keep going.
Sir. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
For the crimes that you have committed against so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Keep going.
Sir. Shame shall cover thee.
The Lord said you're going to be covered in shame. And the Christians don't want the oppressor to be covered in shame for the crimes that they have committed. You don't want them to be shamed. They can inherit the wealth and inherit the land and inherit all of the resources and the banks and everything so that life is so much better for their people than it is for ours. They can inherit it, but you don't want them to inherit the shame of how their forefathers stole it and murdered for it and raped for it and robbed for it and pillaged for it. Most wars last how long? How long does the average war last? What, 5, 6 years, 10 years at the most? How long did World War I last, Uraj? How long did that last? Less than 10 years, right?
Roughly 6 to 7 years.
6, 7 years. World War I. How long did World War II last? Less than 10 years. How long did the Vietnam War last? Less than 10 years. How long did the Korean War last? Less than 10 years. This war that America had with Afghanistan, that has been probably one of the longest running wars that America has fought in God knows how long. Since 2001, 9/11 until what? 2021 when Biden said he quit? 20 years? 20 years of war. Do you know that they waged hundreds of years of war against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the war is still ongoing.
Right.
100, not 100, not 200, not 300, hundreds of years of war and counting has been waged on our people. The Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Dominicans, hundreds of years of war this oppressor has waged on them, on us. No nation of people at no point in time, at never ever in history, have had war waged against them for hundreds of years at a time. Nobody. Nobody. Never. Not in Darfur, not in Tibet, not in Korea, not with Taiwan, not the Persian Gulf War, Desert Storm. No one has been under siege for hundreds of years. No one,
Right.
except our people. And the Lord said that they should be covered in shame for what they have done. And yet and still, some of our people go and defend them. When the Lord burned this place, a lot of our people going to go because we won't let the oppressor go. You understand? Right. As for the rest of our people who do want to serve the Lord, who want to get justice for the crimes that have been done against us and that are still being done to us, you come into the Isupk and we will earn justice from the Lord by building Christ's kingdom and changing our lives, man. And we at the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we started out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York, and we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We are all under command of General Yohana. If you are not in the Isupk, you are not in the truth. You are not serving Christ, but you are that way by your own choice. You are supposed to be in here. So, like what you said? I heard somebody say Salakia.
Nah, sir.
Somebody said Salakia. I'm not hearing anything. I heard somebody say Salakia. What's going on?
Salakia, so the computer did some weird sound on my end, but I didn't say Salakia.
You just said Salakia? What the hell is going to kick you off this broadcast?
Salakia. I didn't say Salakia, though.
The computer said Salakia. What is going on? Shaquat Google. God damn it. Y'all snuck Siri in the class. You understand? Go ahead. We're going to end it there. You understand? We are the Isupk. All blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, you're supposed to be in here. Building up our nation, learning our culture, our heritage, so that we can have a national protection around our people. National, not in the land where we live, which we are in many different lands, all scattered across the world. This brotherhood and the spirit of the Most High in Christ will protect and watch over us if we turn back and obey the Most High. That should be your life's goal, is to build this nation back up so that we can pass this down to our sons and our daughters and future generations, and it will solve all of the problems that we have. You understand? Rule for new brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters coming to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They'll be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves with the world. You understand? After a 6-month period, if a brother or sister has a particular interest in anyone, they're to get counsel to speak to a brother or sister that they're interested in. They get counsel from the heads to speak to a brother or sister. After that 6-month period, they will either get counsel, permission to marry, or how to proceed. You understand? All right. This is not the Christian church. You get permission to do everything in here. You understand? Unless you're told you don't need permission to do. Tithes, a commandment from the Most High. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives to you, you give right to the school. Go to isupk.com, put in your tithes, it'll email you your receipt. You understand? Right to your email. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives to you. You find $20 on the ground, you find $5 on the ground. You understand? You get an allowance. You understand? You find money, you hit the lottery, get your stimulus check, you go to work, you get your retirement money, Social Security. 10% of every penny of any increase that you get, you pay to the school. You understand? That is you giving it to the Most High. If you take the Lord's money and give it anywhere else, you've given it to a thief and a robber, and you still owe the Most High. You understand? Upcoming holy convocations, we got September the 25th. You understand? Feast of, We got High Holy Day, September the 25th.
Got the memorial blowing trumpet, sir.
Memorial blowing of the trumpets coming up September the 25th. Everybody make sure that you're ready. Memorial blowing of the trumpets coming up. You understand? We got a cookout coming up at the beginning of October in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville cookout coming up, the Southern cookout. Make sure that you tune into that. Everybody get ready. Make your way to Nashville if you got plans on there. Those flyers are in circulation as well. All right. And lastly, if any brother wants to become a trooper in the school, it'll be in all black, black boots, shirt, pants, headband, war scarf, all black. Even if you are watching class online, you be in your all black. I was in all black watching classes online many years ago. All black watching class. And in all the black that you have, all black, and contact the school in whatever city or state that is nearest to you and let them know specifically that you want to be a trooper in the ISUPK. You want to be in the school to get in the work. Make sure that you contact them specifically and let that school know. You can find the phone number for all of our ISUPK schools on our website. You can Google the phone number for whatever ISUPK in whatever city or state that you are in, the same way that you would do if you wanted a home, a house, a job, or to attend Esau's college or anything else. You would be able to find that. Do not let Satan give you some excuse to think that because you don't know the phone number, that's why you haven't called month after month, week after week, year after year. That's a demon. Don't listen to that. You don't have that excuse. You can easily get the number. You can call one number and get whatever number that you need. Make sure you do so. Time is running out. Do not be outside of this body playing games. There is no protection outside of this body. You rolling the dice, and we don't win as a people rolling the dice. You understand? And with that, all right, Imadium, which means to stand. Going to give one courtesy salute. All right. Men of Israel, Imadium Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shemal Shabrakathum, Yahya Matah, Saw, which means to turn. Going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel, sisters Imadium, which means to stand, Imadium Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Yadi Matah, class dismissed. All right. Be sure y'all tune in right here. ISUPK Virginia, No Cowards Richmond. Our next upcoming class will be on Friday. You understand? Hebrew language class. Check in all our latest episodes. The Bible is Black. Like, share, subscribe, leave your comments. You understand? With that, shalom. The water.